Pastor Jurgen and Leanne. They're just such heroes to me and for everything that they have sown into us and into this church. And of course, I want to honor my supervisors, Kobe. She is just amazing, and I'm so grateful for all the love and the support. And just the fruits in her life are just a testament to her character, and I'm so honored to be under her. And of course, Corey, she's just so amazing in every single way. And I'm so grateful for her friendship, and she's just so good at what she does, and I admire her attitude. So honored to look up to them and have them as people in my life. But yeah, I'm going to be doing my message on communion.
Come on.
And I wanted to start off with a little confession. So for the longest time when I would take communion at Awaken, I would just take the cup, and then one time, I realized that my friend was like struggling and like playing with the cup, and I was so confused. And she was like, "Oh, like I can't take the cracker out." And I'm like, "What cracker?" And I'm like, "What? There's bread in here?" And I had no idea. And to me, I was like, "Oh my, like I have not been taking full communion for the past year. Like it's that much." And it was such a huge deal to me because I struggled with just the feeling of needing to strive for things and even like striving for God's love, and it's one of those areas that He's been working on. But even in communion, I felt like I wanted to do things the right way, the best way. So like right before communion, I would make sure I'm, just forgiving anyone that I need to forgive, repenting really quickly, like in those few minutes, like hurrying up, even like hold the cup with my right hand, not my left hand, like it was to that extent, and it really took away from the power of communion to me. But as I seeked more of God's heart and His character, He's just been revealing so much and changing so much, even when it came to communion. And the definition of communion, and Liz mentioned it also in her preach last week, is that it's the intimate exchange of thoughts and feelings. And to me that was so powerful and so deep, knowing what God has done on the cross, and that exchange can be applied to other areas of our lives. And just one of my favorite verses is when King David said, "How precious are your thoughts to me, O God, how great is the sum of them." So, and it's in Psalms 139, so knowing that every time we take communion, I come under that agreement, that every thought that God has towards me, every promise that He has, that I can come in with my insecurities, my self-doubt, and lay that down, and He exchanges it for what He says I am, for His identity, for my identity in Him, that I can come in with my weaknesses, and knowing that His strength is made perfect in my weakness, and He clothes me with power and authority. And even like right now with what's happening in quarantine, we're kind of gotten used to this momentum. But at the same time, we are uncertain about our next steps. So just coming in with my fears of the future and my anxious thoughts, knowing, that I'm standing on every promise God has, that He says that He's making a way when there's no way, that He won't let my foot slide, that every good and perfect gift is from above. So all just standing under that agreement and that covenant was such a huge revelation to me. And even just understanding what the oath that He made on the cross was big. And those are big words, covenant and oath, and they have big meanings. So the way that I understood it to really get it down in my spirit was, it's like if you're holding a kid's hand, they're not very good at holding your hand, kids. They'll just leave it there, but you're the one who has to hold their hand. But in their mind, they're holding your hand, but really you're holding theirs. And that's kind of how I see that covenant that God made, is that it's kind of like this, and He's holding my hand, that I'm not the one who has to strive and hold on to Him, that when I get weary and tired and I'm actually letting go, that salvation that He made, that covenant that He made of every single promise that He said He would do, that's Him holding my hand regardless of what I'm feeling in that moment, that I'm always going to come around to Him. So I'm just super grateful for what God has been showing to me in communion, and just realizing that even right now with our passions and our desires, that He would really bring that up more and reignite that in us when we rest in his covering, when we rest in his word and what he says we are. So, yeah. That's it.